Hopefully my internet's not being weird. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I've done my last podcast show, but today we got Ritchie Nkana. Is that how you say it? Ritchie Nkana.
That's it.
And today he is on here to tell his story from Kingdom. But for Ritchie. Welcome to the show, Ritchie.
Thanks, Chris. I think there's a bit of a a bit of a delay. I don't know if it's a connection or whatever it is.
Can you?
Yeah,
Oh, it's chopping really good.
can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Okay. So welcome to the show. Welcome to Tell Me Your Story, the podcast. So let's start off with the very beginning. Where does your story begin? Where did you grow up at?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm based in London, and I've spent most of my time right here in London. Went to school here, and business school, then straight into banking. So that has
Well,
been my life
go
pretty
ahead.
much for
Sorry.
the last like 15, 20 years.
So were you growing up in a time with technology, or what was your childhood like?
Yeah, I think that's what's been quite interesting. I was just talking to somebody actually about that, and I think we are in a privileged position right now where we can actually bridge generations. Because I remember a time when we didn't have anything like, say, smartphones, right? Now you got kids these days growing up or born with a smartphone in their hands. So it's very, very different. I can remember a time when we didn't have any smartphones as far as indicates technology was not as what it is now. And seeing it now, what it has actually introduced to the world. Of course, for the better, but comes with its challenges as well, and how we can actually manage that.
Up, all I had, yeah, it was just like the Nintendo and all that stuff, going on there. Hold on just a second. I'm having complications over here. I gotta fix mine real quick. Technology.
Technology, we're talking
But
about technology,
anyway, I
right?
like to say, yeah, technology was not really like it was there, but not like starting off because I was growing up in the early 2000s, and at the time everybody was outside playing sports. We weren't inside glued to the phone or glued to the
Yeah.
computer screen. Facebook, MySpace, all that stuff was not even in existence yet. We were just kind of rocking and rolling, and just enjoying life, just living life as it was here in the states. And you're being from the United Kingdom, everybody was it any different for you growing up? Were you growing up with the phone? Did you have like you're probably about the same age as me, right? Probably
No, no,
90s
I
baby.
think no, really, I should go beyond that. I'm older, much older than you, so I can.
Oh,
I know.
you would never
I'm
think that though.
no, I know that. I get that all the time, pretty much. But the thing about it is, yes, it has shifted quite a bit. Kids these days don't really go out as much, whereas in our case, growing up, we spend time outdoors,
Hmm.
get to enjoy, and I think our social interactions and I think even social skills, I think were a little bit more better. I think
Yeah.
growing up, And I think that is one of the downsides to technology, where kids can just sort of like stay in their rooms, play video games, or interact digitally, right? Being on games and everything of that sort. So in my case, yes, I had, I think, the privilege of actually being outdoors and actually playing, and only come on back in to get something to eat. You go
That's
back
just
out.
how it was. Honestly, that's just how it was.
Yeah,
Your mom would be calling you. Your dad would be,
yeah,
dad's working. Mom's calling you, saying, Christopher, get your butt over here. It's time to
yeah,
eat supper.
yeah,
And that was like,
exactly.
honestly, for the younger audience that's listening right now, that's just how it was. And to find out where everybody was at in the neighborhood, it was where the bikes were lined up outside the house. There would be like 10 bikes outside of
Yeah,
somebody's house. And that's how you knew that's where everybody's at. And we were usually over there, at the time. That's
absolutely.
when I think that's when like PlayStation, for me, it was PlayStation was actually becoming its own thing. It actually came out because we were playing Super Nintendo for the longest time. And then once PlayStation came out, we were playing like games like Crash Bandicoot, and the wrestling games were becoming very popular. Football games were coming out. Frogger was coming. The Frogger was very popular.
Yeah, yeah. I remember
we
Nintendo
got
days where you had those. You didn't have the like the CD kind of things before that. That we
no.
had some sort of like what do you call them now? I can't remember now. It's the kind of like cartridges where you actually plug it
Yeah,
in.
you had actually like the trick was like if it wasn't working, you had to take it out, blow into it as hard as you
Yeah,
could, and then put it back into
put it
the
back in to actually
system,
play a game.
and
Yeah,
hopefully it would work.
exactly. Yeah, those were the days.
Good old days.
Yeah.
So going into high school, what was your schooling like?
I was never really so much of, I would say, an academic at that moment in time. School, I would say maybe at that moment I was an average student, but I think high school was one of those. When I look in the phase of my life, yes, it was formative in a lot of ways, but it's only when I got into, say, university and maybe business school. I think it's the people I met at that moment in time that sort of like shifted my mindset in how I look at things. High school is more of a blur in a lot
Yeah,
of ways.
I
But I
definitely.
went through it. Yeah, got some good grades, funny enough, but I don't think I put in as much effort as I would.
Yeah,
So I think it was one of those where I did just all right for what I was actually capable of.
I think I have to say I was pretty much the same way. I was pretty much the same way. Where like looking back at it, I could have gave more of an effort, but my mind was not focused on like school. I was thinking about the girls there. I was playing the sports, thinking
Yeah,
about that next level. Am I gonna make it to college to play football?
yeah,
Or any of them sports. I was, especially my senior year. That's when I was really trying to decide what I wanted to do with life. I was still kind of like I don't know. I want to travel the world and go places. But then I ended up actually doing that. Actually, when I graduated, I didn't know what I was doing exactly. So I started going from state to state, just, checking it out and seeing what I wanted to do with my life. And eventually I came back and I realized like I'm doing what I like right now. I got to the
yeah.
University of Toledo and got my associates in journalism and started doing that. Started just, interviewing people because I realized I had a gift where I could just talk to anybody. And I was like, this is
Um,
actually good. And I'm like, I want to
Amazing.
use this.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty about it. If you can actually trying to figure out your gift early enough. Because I think that's a trick, right? Or that's a tricky bit for the most part because we coast in life or we drift in life just based on, for the most part, it's extrinsic kind of motivations or reasons not really what we really want to do, what we really want to end up, because we just have not figured it out at that moment in time.
And yeah, once you got into college, though, what was going on with you? Because you said you weren't really focused in high school, but once you got to starting your business, what was going on there? What was the switch? The people you started hanging out with, or what was going on?
I think for me it was actually when I went into work, because yes, I did pretty good when it came to my higher studies. Then I got into banking. I think it was the people I met. Then I had very good mentors, and that's when it sort of almost just clicked in the direction, understanding my purpose. That it's a lot more about, it goes just beyond just getting a job and getting paid, but what is a lot more fulfilling is finding your purpose that you can actually wake up to and deliver, solve a problem, and it doesn't actually feel like a job. It
Yeah, and
doesn't feel like work.
exactly like what you're saying. I agree on that 100%. Because
Yeah.
if you're gonna work somewhere, you're giving half of your life to this place.
Yeah.
You want to at least enjoy it, right? I
Totally.
see a lot of people get tied up to some job because it's paying good, but they don't enjoy it. I was like, I'd rather be at a place, a company that I enjoy. That way, I could be there and be happy about it. Then I want to put more into that company, invest into it because I'm giving part of my life to it. Why not? And I think that's really what a lot of people miss out on. So, what you were just saying, keep it up, man. Keep saying like you preached over here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big problem. I see that even in kids these days, because, and you have, I remember like in my case, it was more around go after your passion, right? Now you got an 18-year-old, 17-year-old, even 20-year-old, go after your passion. A passion can be mistaken for a hobby, which is very, very different, right? So it's about following your passion. You can't know your passion till you do. And that's one thing I found out, because I thought finance was my passion till I got in there. I did something else. I did coaching and know that I found actually this is not even my passion. My passion actually sits elsewhere. So I think it's more about how is it we can communicate that and help young people understand that it's not just about, a passion is very, very different to a hobby. And for you to know your passion, you have to do, then you understand. And have the freedom to also be able to try new things, because only then will you be able to know and eliminate things that actually are not congenial with the direction you want to go.
So, what did you say when you first got into college? You had it all figured out. You knew what you were going to pursue, what you were going after, or when did you know for sure like this is what I want to do with the rest of my life?
I thought I did, and but let it down the line. I only found out that actually the reasons I went into, say, banking was maybe something to do with, say, money motivations. So it wasn't so much about a passion of what I really wanted to do. So yes, I thought I had it figured out, but in the back of that figuring it out was on the basis of pretty much extrinsic motivations that drove me. So
Yeah,
it took
and
further awareness and sort of like diving deeper, and just having that self awareness later down the line, did I realize that, well, actually my passion actually sits elsewhere, and that's the direction I need to go for.
so what would you say was your first hustle, your first like career project?
Wow, my first career project, because I came from a finance background, I did, and this was actually very organic, was financial coaching. So I was coaching people on personal finances. So it was just something I did for free because I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed financial literacy, and I found there's a lot of people that were not aware of that. And then I added on to that fitness, because fitness tend to be my passion as well, and because it was my pain. So it was my pain which turned into, or my mess which turned into my message. Again, that was very organic because it's the results that people saw in me, and they're asking me how I did it. Then I started teaching that, and it turned into the initial hustle. So those are kind of, it was very, very organic, and I never really had thought myself to be more of a business person and to go into business. But these just sort of like evolved, was almost like a natural progression. Initially, actually, I just did it for free, but I enjoyed it so much. And what was so interesting was like, right, I enjoy doing this, and actually, people actually ready to actually pay me for this. So it's like finding something that you can actually do. Not only are you solving a problem, but actually you can actually get paid for it, and it doesn't feel like work. So that was a bonus.
So that first person you worked with, what was that feeling like when you first got into it? You're like, okay, here we go. I'm actually gonna try this. What were you feeling in that moment?
Actually, for me, it was very funny. It was very easy because, I did it for the longest time for free. So it's something that I'd been doing, but then with that, I was putting in the reps. So by the time I was getting a paid client, it was already my psyche. It was just putting in those, it was just like another one of those. I was just refining the
Yeah.
whole process. Yeah, so I had already put in the work to do it. So yeah, so it was, by the time I got a paid client, it got easy at that moment in time. But with my first free sort of like clients where I was getting other testimonials and all that, it was figuring out and piecing things together. But at the same time, it wasn't as pressured because they were not paying me anything, but I
Yeah.
was getting them the results. So that was, yeah, that was good.
Now, did you get it from like, did a friend say like, you're doing pretty good at this stuff? I'm surprised you're not actually getting paid for it, or did it just like, occur to you like, man, maybe I should? I'm getting results with these people. Maybe I should actually be getting paid because you said yourself you were kind of like, I've been doing for free. It's not really that big of a deal to me. And then once the idea of getting paid for it, it was like, well, wait a minute, maybe I should do this.
Actually, for me, it was actually very different because I'd never really thought about it as getting people to pay me because I was making good money from banking.
Okay.
So I'd never really thought about having maybe another side hustle. I just enjoyed doing it. But but it was more about the people I was helping, and they'll go like, "Oh, go see Richie, go see Richie." So this thing was just getting so much bigger, and it goes like, "Oh, I'll pay you. Can you actually help me? You help this guy. Can you help me too? And I'll pay you." So that's how it sort of like grew into. So I was like, "Oh, right, were you to pay me?" Then I spoke to a business coach and
Okay.
how I can create a model because my issue was more about my bandwidth because
Okay.
I had a banking job which is very demanding. I enjoyed what I did, but I could only help so many people. So how is it that I could create a model that can actually capture and help those people that need that help without diluting my main job, my main gig, so to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the biggest challenge you had to face through it all?
Oh, absolutely. And looking back, that was the birth of Operator's Edge as it is today, but it was more for me at that moment in time. How is it that you can actually balance those kind of two elements without burnout? Because at the same time, I enjoyed coaching so much, but banking was very, very demanding as well.
I bet you're going
And
back and forth really.
yeah. So it's like, yeah. So it's going to the point where like, how is it that I can sort of like deliver in this both areas without burning out? Because it came to a point where I was actually burning out, and of course that did impact my mental health as well
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. So how is it that I can untangle this and work on this? So that's when I started looking at different ways, doing a bit of research in how I can not only show up as that person who's not only delivering those particular programs, but me embodying that personality as well, or that person, or that identity.
So, what would you say was the biggest problem you faced with with clients and stuff? What would you say is like the reoccurring issue that you seen everybody was dealing with whenever you had a new client? What would you always have to fix?
Yeah, and that's the beauty about it, because most of the clients are faced, you find they've got different challenges. And that's why I love coaching, because I, even in banking, I love projects. I'm a trained CPA, but I hated traditional accounting. I went into projects because I love solving problems. It's almost like a puzzle. And what I found is, even when clients come with similar sort of like goals they want to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
you find the problems they're actually facing, or the struggles, are very individualistic in a lot of ways. And how is it that you can actually personalize that? And that's one thing I've found, because, and that's the reason why I don't believe in cookie cutter programs, because you find people are very, very different. They've got different strengths, different challenges. So how is it that it's all about understanding, looking at their strengths, look at their weaknesses, and see how you can actually level up their, whatever you feel maybe they're weak, and sort of like even sort of like double down on their strengths as well,
Yeah.
and help them achieve that.
I was thinking especially with banking, it would be like just trying to better like probably with your credit. People just because I felt like in high school, like looking back, is that's probably something they should have gave us like a class and like how to take care of that, to focus on that, because that's what we're struggling with a lot around nowadays, where people don't realize how important your credit is until it's too late.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
you think like, okay, this credit thing I don't have to really worry about, but later down the line you're like, well, I should have made those purchases or did this and that. Maybe I should have took care of that, because now you're trying to get a house or something or a car or something like that, and you can't do it because your credit's not as good as it could be, and a lot of people are struggling with that. And honestly, I figured that would probably be one of the reoccurring things that you have to deal with your clientele.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to finances, yeah, when it comes to finances, actually even bigger problems than that. I was actually talking to somebody on the finance piece just the other day. There was a show I was on, and we are talking about that, and we delved into the finance aspect, or economic empowerment aspect. And that's been my frustration, because I've been a big champion of financial literacy, especially for young people. And my frustration is that here in the UK, and I understand in the US as well, similar thing. There are certain subjects that are compulsory. Like here in the UK, we got subjects like, say, design. It is a good subject, but you might find the kid might never get to use design really later down in life. But you go to subject like, say, we do financial literacy, each and every one of us has to face that later down in life. Yet that is not actively taught in schools.
And it
So
should
you
be.
find people, yeah, exactly. So you find people only figure it out after making mistakes later down in life. You find you're 25 in your 30s, go like, right, I made mistakes. All right, I need to now straighten out my finances. I need to straighten out my credit. Right, but it doesn't have to be that way. If these things are taught early on in school as part of the curriculum, right? So yeah, so you're right. It's really been something that's been very quite frustrating for me. I normally hold I just finished a boot camp for kids, 8 week boot camp for kids. It's actually funded by Wells Fargo, the American bank. Just not very long ago, just about a month ago. So because it's key that young people are empowered with that knowledge, so you don't wait till you make mistakes and figure it out later down the line, and it's a little bit too late at that moment in time.
I feel like honestly, if I had to go back into like teach a high school class, that's probably what I'd end up doing. If I had to do something like that, but let the kids know senior year, junior year, like hey, they're not probably teaching classes about that. At least I hope so. I hope they are now, maybe. But that's one
Now,
thing I would touch with the kids. I was like, that's very important.
oh yeah,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
And just to touch on that,
Mm.
it'd be like this credit thing is like you're gonna have to really pay attention to it. I mean, especially now with the economy and the way it is
Yeah,
and how it's going, inflation, everything, it's gonna play a big factor in your life.
absolutely. Yeah.
But I wanted to also ask you, what drew you into banking? What really got you into that?
For me, that's easy. It was the money.
The money.
Yeah, it was the money, and I found out soon enough that money can only do so much. It goes way beyond the money.
What did success look like for you back then, and how was the change over time?
Yeah, I think success at that moment in time was having the financial freedom, because I thought having the financial freedom, the finance, the status, that would give me the freedom to pretty much do what I enjoy doing in life. That has since shifted over time for me.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like the next, when was there a moment like in your career when you realized it just wasn't fulfilling your purpose anymore?
I think I felt it when I think I had got it, because I did rise pretty quick in the banking space, because as I indicated, I was very lucky. I had very good mentors. So I was pretty good, clued up in understanding which area I wanted to work in banking. So I specialized real quick. And on paper, I seemed successful, so as to speak, sort of like reaching the bank, but emotionally bankrupt. So I think it's that moment in time that I did feel that there is more to it. Right, right. Success on
Was it
paper, but yeah.
was it scary walking away from it finally when you finally
Was
got
it,
into coaching? Just
you mean going walking away from it?
yeah, just walking away from it and then taking on coaching full time.
Yeah, I think it was one. It was a bit scary. Set off with because I'd been in banking for so long. That's pretty much the area I knew, and I was actually good at it, which is interesting as well. It paid very well, so people couldn't don't really get it when I say like, right, okay, walking away from it. It's like, why would you want to walk away from something that's actually paying so well and set up something new? Yeah, so it's more about the purpose shifted at that moment in time. It's understanding your purpose in life and talking about that fulfillment we just mentioned right there. What is it that will fulfill me. And we talk about minimum regrets. I think Jeff Bezos has got that mental model. He talks about minimum regrets, right?
Mhm.
You get to your 80s, to your 90s, or you're in that rocking chair, you're looking back over your life. What sort of life decisions would you want to minimize as much as possible in case, as far as in case of regrets are concerned, right?
Yeah.
So it's about looking at. So I don't want to be in a situation where I get to that stage. It's like, right, okay, I was in my prime and I did not pull the trigger because I was too comfortable in that situation. You don't have to wait till you retire for you to start enjoying or going after your purpose. And that's the problem. That's what I see a lot because most people stick in a dead end job
Hmm.
and wait for retirement just because they avoid that discomfort because it's uncomfortable because you're jumping into the unknowns. It's easier to be in a safe space where you know you're going to be getting that paycheck, right? So there is that stability. That's the reason entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're hitting it right on the nail. Like,
Mm.
just knocking it out the park. Is a lot of people like being comfortable, having that, just that ability to know, like, hey, I'm safe here. But as soon as you get into that uncomfortable feeling, that's when people start saying, oh, I don't know about this. But that's what you
Exactly.
have to do. If you have the entrepreneur mindset, you have to be willing to take the risk because you'll never
Absolutely.
know for sure. And like you said, like, well, Jeff says, you don't want to
Yep.
be sitting there at 90 thinking to yourself, why didn't I take those chances? Why did I stay at this dead end job that I didn't like all those years and retire there instead of going after what I wanted to go after, or wait until you retire, you know? And for whoever's listening right now, I think that's important that we're preaching on this and talking about it. Like, take that shot, that chance, man. Get out there and go for it. You know, whatever you want to pursue really bad, don't wait. Go for it. I mean, I'm not telling you to quit your job.
Yeah.
Don't quit your job, but at least get something, get the groundwork going, get the wheels churning, get something rolling for you, something that you're passionate about, something that you love. Like you said, you were in banking and you were doing this coaching on the side for free, and you didn't think much of it at first, but then after after doing it for a period of time, it caught on to you. You're like, I could actually see myself doing this as a career, helping people out. And then that's what I'm saying to whoever's listening to this right now. You know, whatever your pursuit is, whatever your desire, whatever you're interested in, go for it. Don't wait. Start doing the groundwork while you're at your job right now. You're working on this dead end job. Start making it into like a little side hustle. Get something rolling that you really want to do. And then eventually in time, if you keep building and building on that, it's gonna happen for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's about you raised a very good point there. It's about having those calculated risks. Yes, it's not just about I'm just going to walk away from my job and set up this thing. Yes, it has to be calculated. At the end of the day, we still need to put food on the table, right? So yes, it's all about being calculated about this. But at the same time, if you do not pursue your dreams or that vision, right, you will end up sort of like in a case of like regretting later down in life. And you don't want that. You want to minimize those regrets as much as possible.
So for anybody that's wanting to know about your coaching, what makes your coaching approach unique compared to other people?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Yeah, as far as in the case of uniqueness is my biggest sort of like struggle I face because I've been in many coaching programs. I still have coaches today. I'm part of masterminds. I keep on going on a daily basis. Um, so I would say the uniqueness is based on real life, the kind of experiences I faced, and with that one, I would say was more to do with the emphasis on most of the coaching to do with with hacks, strategies, and all that, and neglecting the very operator behind those strategies or those hacks. So my coaching has been very focused on the operator behind the business. So what do we mean? Because by that we're talking about three core areas there. One, in the case of the execution, right? Because you can have all the time, you can have all the tools, you can have all the strategies, but if you don't have the energy as the operator, you can only do so much
Yeah.
because energy drives execution. So the kind of one of the core areas I focus on. How is it that we can enhance your energy so you show up at your best so you can actually execute,
Yep.
right? The next part is more about systems. Systems it's not just about having an SOP here, systems that you actually use in a business, but each and every one of us should have personal systems because systems what drive scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when we have those systems that are actually embedded that we can actually predictably show up, then that will actually drive scale. So that's something that will actually I teach in there. Then lastly is relationships. Relationships pretty much through everything. I've coached Fortune 500 leaders on paper doing great, but the relationships at home on autopilot, right? They're physically there, but not really present. So how is it that you can be a person that goes at, be it at work or at home, that when you're present in that room, you actually bring that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you leave that room, that energy actually lingers, right? So those are the kind of my core tenets that I actually bring in my coaching. It has to be a full spectrum because as I indicated, I started off coaching personal finances, which is good. It just gives you that freedom in the case of the wealth element. But you can have all the wealth, but if your health is not where it's supposed to be, again, there is a gap there. So I started teaching, coaching fitness. I thought fitness because it's all about the body. Same on the back of my book as well. Then like I found, yes, you can have those pieces, but if relationships are not where it's supposed to be, guess what? That's no full spectrum success. And success is all about having those three areas. How is it that we can win in health? Obviously, our wealth, which is the finances, and our relationships. And our relationships can be with our family, the people we work with, our faith as well, be it whatever it is that we believe in. Like in my case, I'm a man. In my case, my faith. I need to have that relationship because that gives me meaning. So it's things like that. So yeah, so just to get sort of like I know I went around in circles, but that's pretty much I think a sort of an overview of what my program is all about and what I do.
Very well said. Very well said. My next question for you is how do you fitness in your personal display play into your coaching philosophy?
Fitness.
Yeah.
Fitness is key. Reason is, and that's the reason, my book, Body and Bank Connection, was on that basis. I remember speaking to fellow bankers years ago. That was the genesis of that book. And the question I asked them was, what comes to mind when you think of fitness? And the answer was like, oh, six pack. I think I got one answer which said something like confidence or anything like that. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. It goes like, oh, Rich, I do understand the benefits of fitness, but I don't have time. I need to put food on the table. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. But what if I told you that when you exercise, you're 20% more productive? When you exercise, you are in this banking arena. I'm in that arena as well, so I do understand the pressures. And where you're in that pressurized environment, guess what? Your stress levels are elevated. which means your cortisol levels are elevated, right? And what do you need to counter that? You need things like serotonin, dopamine, right? And guess what? When you exercise, you get those naturally. Then we're talking about BDNF. BDNF drives neurogenesis, which is the reproduction of brain cells. And the study I covered in my book as well, it was found that when you exercise, BDNF can be enhanced as much as threefold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like regeneration of brain cells. So I was like, now just thinking of those 3 points I just mentioned, do you still think fitness and exercise is a necessity or an option? You go like, oh, now I get to think about it. It is a necessity, right? Yeah. So fitness, I think for me is key. Like for Body and Bank Connection, my book was on that genesis from that. Body and Bank, it could be in a literal sense, like our bodies and our bank account in a literal sense, but it could also be a metaphor. Whatever bank account we're looking to fill, be it our energy bank account, our productivity bank account, our fulfillment bank account, it starts with our bodies.
Yes.
And that's the reason why fitness is actually key and it's in the cornerstone. With the program I teach, Operator's Edge, that's the reason the operator is based around that in the case of energy systems, and fitness is incorporated within that.
Well said. Because like you said though, fitness is it plays a very important factor in a lot of stuff. And I mean, it really improves your mood and just like you can think a lot better too. You're doing it every day. If you're working out constantly every day and you're going into work, you're ready. You're ready for whatever challenges are ahead of you because you did your thing, in the morning or at night, depending on what time you do it. And like you said, you're just hitting it right on the head, man.
Yeah.
What would you say though is your highest, like, between your highest achiever, like, who struggled? Like, do you have like a transformation story, anything for like anybody that was working through you?
Oh, I've had hundreds. I've had hundreds of transformations, and that's the beauty, and that's what drives me. I think from one, looking at it from the fitness perspective, from the finance perspective, and now looking at Operator's Edge, where we have a 360 kind of view on those kind of transformation aspects. Because Operator's Edge actually came from the feedback I was getting from all these coaching programs I was coaching, because I found this common theme that was there. It's like somebody winning in one area, but two other areas are missing, or winning in two areas, one area missing. But how is it we can have a 360 kind of success in life and business, right? So yeah, so I've got, as far as indicated transformations, yeah, I've got hundreds of transformations in all areas. I can talk about fitness, I can talk about finances, and I still get texts, I still get emails today on things some I worked with maybe years ago, but I'm still getting texts go, oh man, what you showed me, this is where I'm at right now. It's like, oh, it just gives you can't put a value on that.
So how do you stay grounded and motivated with so many people looking to you for the inspiration? Like after doing all that.
And that's what motivates me, because it's more around how is it that I can keep on doing this, because as I said, you can't put a value on somebody coming back, right? Like when I was coaching finance, I paid down on my debt, or this is where I'm at right now. I'm financially free, or I've lost weight, right? I'm in the best shape of my life now. I have this boundless energy that I never really had, right? I now feel like now my relationship with my family and my loved ones now is just never been any better. So those kind of things, you can't put a value on that. And that's what pushes me. That keeps me going. Because at times, tell you what, it's not easy. Because you wake up, then at times you have to solve this problem. At times it's a puzzle. And I also have things I have to deal with. But then showing up as the operator, putting on that operator's hat,
Mm-hmm.
and keep on showing up. It is that, right? Because it gives you purpose to show up, because you can actually see the work you're actually putting in, and you're seeing those results.
Yep. And I mean, like you said, that's how it keeps you motivated, keeps you pushing,
Oh yeah.
keeps you going. You what you, but how do you keep your habits though? How do you keep them like your routines? How do you keep staying sharp mentally, physically, and spiritually? What do you do in that?
Oh yeah, I've got. I don't know if I told you. I've got Operator's Edge. Operator's Edge came about very organically as well. I've got 8 playbooks. I had struggles. Again, with me, it was a balance because it's something I struggled with. How is it you can balance, Nikki? So you got family, you got work, you got business, all that, overwhelm. You burned out. So what I started doing was writing playbooks for myself and how I can actually show up in each one of those areas. So there's 4 pillars to it. So the first one was more about what you call the operator was more about my body and how I show up. So I can ensure I have the energy to execute my health is supposed to be where it's supposed to be at, which includes the food I eat and all of that. So that's my fitness. Then the second part was what I refer to as the architect. It's having my vision, have clarity of vision. Because at times you just drift. So it's about having that clarity. So I wrote a playbook on that. How is it I can execute and be aware of my vision each and every time, be it on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Break it down to a formula, to a playbook. Then comes a builder because you can't build without having a vision of actually what you're creating. Architects do what? Have a vision of what they're going to create before they actually build. Then comes a builder. Now you start building. These are now systems I have. So with systems on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, could be on a weekly, I have systems like what I call, like, say, 3D. I've got a lot of frameworks and tools. Like I'll look like a 3D, which is like what drained me today or this past week. Do I delegate this or do I delete it for my system, for myself? I've got a toleration audit. What did I tolerate this past week that was not taking me towards my purpose? Because I've got a vision already that I'm clear of. So I've got SOP builders. What is it that I'm actually constantly doing on a weekly basis? In this case, I'll draw up an SOP so I don't have to be repeatedly doing that. So I've got a playbook for that as well. Then lastly, I've got what I call the leader. Leader is all about relationships. Again, with that, I've got playbooks. How am I showing up? Am I the leader I would want to report to? Say, if I was my leader, is it the kind of person I would want to to lead me? You see?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. I also have a check. I've sort of like an audit. How did I show up with the people that matter the most? Did I engage with them as I should? That's a daily checkpoint. So those are kind of playbooks I initially did for myself. But over time, as I was coaching clients in different areas, be it fitness or finances, and of course, then we get to talk about my life. How are you doing this? Oh, you're doing so much. How are you able to do that? As I've got playbooks. Oh, can you share that with me? So that's how Operator's Edge came about. So they go like, "Oh, can you expand more on this playbook? This is gold. Can you expand on it?" So I actually created now trainings on the back of those playbooks. So those are now the corner piece of Operator's Edge. So I've got 8 playbooks. So the question you asked, so in my case, I'm very aware of my week, my day, and I look at any gaps. Where am I slipping? Is it one of those pillars? Tell you what, those playbooks, I wrote them for myself as well. I pick it up again, we read it, and they're very sort of like concise. How is it I can actually level up? So that's how I do it. Yeah.
I just like how you put it too. It's like really when you sit back and think about it,
Yeah.
how do you fix yourself? Is like the best way you can word it that.
Yeah.
How do you fix yourself? You sit back at the end of the day after a long week. What can you do differently? What can you improve on? And you, like you said, you started off just writing them for yourself, and before you know it, you wrote a book. 8 of them, really?
Eight playbooks, yeah.
Actually, let's
And
have a
with
pause
trainings
moment.
yeah.
Pause moment. Where can we find these books at? That whoever's watching right now wants to get a hold of one of these books.
Oh no, this playbook's actually the proprietary sort of like frameworks within the program.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So with these, oh, actually, I've got. Oh, you can actually get them. I've got them actually now. There is. I can share the link. I've got some on a website. You're going for about $10 actually. 808.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh eight. Yeah. I just
How
saw
long
that.
has
Yeah.
these books been published out there? They're still fairly new, or
No, these are by playbooks. These are not like I've got my book, which is Body and Band Connection, which is a published book. These are playbooks. So these sort of like concise documents, just sort of like I'll call it a playbook because it's something that you can actually take
okay,
in
okay.
a certain area. So there is a framework in how you can actually sort of take them in as well and use them. And is it like maybe to do with energy? So say feel by 10 or 11 in the morning my energy is tanked. Then
Okay.
I will go like, right, okay, go pick up fuel. You go look at fuel playbook. That is going to give you sort of like a framework in how you can level up. So is it that maybe to do like you're a little bit scattered, like maybe on a weekly basis, not knowing exactly where to go, what to do? I'll go like, right, okay, go for clear. Um, you read that there's a training on the back of it, and there is tools as well. There is some tools that you can actually use, so you can level up on that. Is it to do with the relationships are sort of like slipping? I will go like, right, okay, go look at, say, lead, right? That is going to help you. That's going to help you with that. Yeah. So the eight playbooks in total. Yeah.
Are you gonna have any more playbooks, or is that it?
I think for now those are good, but I keep on. What I've found is those four pillars um are cool. The eight playbooks are good, but I keep on building more playbooks. Playbooks and frameworks. I love frameworks. I'm all about frameworks and tools as well. So that is something I constantly do. I think I have like a new tool or framework on a daily basis. If you look at my book as well, which I wrote a few years ago, again, that was all based on frameworks as well. So around the framework. So
All right. I know the viewers are watching and they're interested about your book. Tell us a little bit more
yeah,
about your book. Do you have it actually? Do you have the cover? Do you have it like sitting in your on your shelf behind you, or?
absolutely. Yeah, but body and band connection, yeah, as I indicated, the genesis was more around how I could. I think that message I mentioned earlier when I was speaking to those bankers, because it was more about the knowledge about what fitness is all about and our bodies, because fitness is always mistaken for death aesthetics, how we look, and that it goes way beyond that. What is not spoken of enough is how it does impact how we show up cognitively, even our mental health as well. Those are kind of things that are not spoken of enough. And that has been my journey, and I've done a lot of work in trying to sensitize people in that particular area in how fitness goes way beyond just how we look, because that is just a bonus in my case, right? I know people that have got like six packs and look shredded and everything, but they feel horrible. They
Yeah.
have zero energy. What is the point, right? And we can talk about fitness as well in how we execute in a lot of ways. So that's what body and band connection is all about. So the book is around brings two words together. Body and band connection is more around how the same principles that we can apply in transforming our body can be applied to transforming our personal finances. And I just use finances in that particular case because finances is just my other expertise as well. But as I said earlier, it could whatever connection the bank could be any bank we could be looking to fill. It could be the our energy bank account, could be our productivity bank account. It starts with our bodies, and that's what the book is all about.
Nice. Where can we find that book at?
The book can find on Amazon or on my website. Our website is there's a link on my website which is ritchienkana.com.
Okay. Do you have any new books coming out in the future?
Oh yeah, actually that's a good one. I actually just submitted a manuscript. I'm co-authoring a book. I'm quite excited about that. I think I love it. It's a bit of an extension of one of the pillars in we talked about in operators there. Just going deeper into that. It goes further than, for the most part, when you want to talk about nutrition, it's always spoken of for say for weight loss and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is goes way beyond just that. So it's beyond nutrition. So it's all about how is it you can focus on how nutrition enhances other areas of your life. Like in my case, the piece I contributed was more how nutrition can enhance how we show up and perform.
It
Yeah,
does. It does. It does play a huge factor in it,
yeah,
especially now I'm getting back more into it again. I just
yeah.
started getting back into fitness to myself because I took off for a while, but I took a break. I got what they call comfy weight from being married,
Yeah.
and then eventually I finally started getting back into just like right now I'm just like biking right now, just getting back into biking fitness and learning how to like what to eat properly, and like right now I'm starting off just eating bananas. And
Yeah.
I've noticed just from eating bananas, just the difference in just how I feel, and just from biking itself. I do 10 miles every 2 days. Well, right now my schedule is with biking. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sundays, and I do about 10 miles, and I try to keep it within under an hour. And so far, I've been keeping it at like right around 56, 57 minutes.
Amazing.
And that, like I said, that's just getting back into it again. And I'm like trying to get back to where my goal was, where when I was really into fitness for a while, where I was at 42 minutes. I'm trying to break that record. But I like where this conversation is because it's like it's fueling me up because I'm like, I need this right now. I like this
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm like, I need to know what I should be eating nutrition wise. Because, like you said, when you eat like the wrong things, like a lot of times here in America, we eat, McDonald's and stuff like that, and just like drinking caffeine, drinking coffee, and all that stuff. It really messes with your mind. You can't focus. You can't be the sharpest that you can be, that you want to be, especially at your job or whatever you're going after. So I feel like
Absolutely.
with your book, you know, you could find it on Amazon or whatever, and I want to get it myself because I need to read this to like help me get focused and stay where I need to be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the fuel is key in what we put in our bodies as well. And and yeah, I'll send you the link as well to the playbooks as well because that is a lot more expansive as well. And it's quite. I think there's some very good tools in there when it comes to some of the strategies that you can actually employ in that particular piece. And the thing about fitness, I love the way you're taking it because most people think about fitness is like you have to spend hours in the gym. At times it's just even just walking. Uh, it's it's just movement, incorporating that movement and slowly building up to where you want to take it. It doesn't have to be like a gym membership and spending hours in the gym, but it's just incorporating that movement.
What kind of legacy are you trying to like? Are you building with your work, and you're trying to leave with your life?
I think for me, it's the operator's edge. It's that identity shift in how I can articulate that, as opposed to the focus of looking all more around the systems and the hacks and all that kind of stuff, how is it that people can have that core understanding that it is pretty much the operator that drives the change that we need? All these things, be it the tools, they're, those are just levers. But how can we go back to the core driver of everything? And that is the operator. So I think for me, I think that's something I'm very passionate about as far as in the case of driving that message in how I want to be in a position where I can see thousands and thousands of people, you know, classing themselves as operators.
Yeah. Awesome. So I want to ask you though.
Yeah.
So what does living on purpose truly mean to you?
Living on purpose, I think for me, means being clear with your values and going after those values. And going after your values is not just about extrinsic values. I think they have to be intrinsic and be clear on that.
Okay. Well said. Well said. Now, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Wow. I think I would say don't be afraid to try and make mistakes. And it's not really mistakes unless you don't learn from them.
Definitely.
So it's just lessons and no mistakes, and keep on going, right? Because I think for the most part, I think the key piece I've learned to think has been more about persistence. As Ogmandino would say, right? I'll persist till I succeed.
Yep.
It's having that clarity of vision and be clear on your faith as well, because you cannot persist if you don't have the faith.
Yeah. And let's, okay, I want to get into that now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your faith. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So you said your faith drives you. Tell me a little bit more about your faith, man. Where did it truly start for you?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I think for me, it started off, I think that was, in college. I think I come from a Christian family. I used to go to church, but it's not something that, yeah, I did. It was just part of routine. But then I think it did strike with me. I think when I was in college, then it became personal at that moment in time.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been my guiding light in a lot of ways. I think faith for me has been, if anything, the pillars that has driven me, because
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I think maybe in high school I did struggle. Yes, I was looking at all these flashy, nice things I would think about, but the vision was, or what I envisioned, or my purpose was very shallow.
Mm-hmm.
But what faith has actually given me is something that is so much bigger
Yeah.
than what
Preach
I
now.
see now.
Preach now.
Right? And I like this verse in the case of the Bible says, like, he has made summer and winter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been plenty of times where I was like, things are not looking good. And I think it's a faith that carries you through that.
Yeah.
And I think a verse like that sort of like reminds you, and that reminder that, right, okay, he's made summer and winter. It's not always going to be summer. But when you go through winter, what do you do? And I was reading a sort of like a translation from, I think, Charles Spurgeon on that particular verse, a commentary on that. And he was talking about he's made summer and winter because looking at winter time, that cold, the times, what it does, it puts a bound on raging diseases
Yeah.
and kills those noxious bugs, right? So yes, it might be uncomfortable, but it's got a purpose for it in putting a bound to those raging diseases and killing those noxious bugs. So what do when you're going through winter? Wrap yourselves with those warm garments of that promise, right? For it's a sluggard who will not labor in winter because of the cold that will end up what, begging in summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is actually quite key. So that is a thing for me. That's what faith does for me. It's that promise
Yeah.
that yes, every day will not be a summer, every day will not be what it is, but there is something bigger, something greater, something that is so much brighter.
That's pretty well said. To me, my faith has always been like when it comes to the end, when I get to I'm standing before the gates, and they're reading off what I did in life. I want them to say, "Well done, well done."
Absolutely.
And
You're
I
good on
left
faith to
nothing on
seven.
the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like you said, my faith it plays a factor in everything. And David Goggins probably said it the best. I'm out here, I'm doing my thing. Nobody's watching, nobody's listening, and it's just me and God. That's who I'm trying to impress. God.
Absolutely. Yep.
I was like, that's exactly how I feel whenever I'm out there doing my own thing, just riding the bike, just doing my thing. I'm not trying to get any applause. I'm not trying to have a crowd watching me or nothing like that. I'm just doing, what pleases God. And that's not just with working out, but with life in general. Everything I do,
Oh,
that's my legacy.
yeah, absolutely. It does shift the meaning to life in a lot of ways, right? And it's not looking at that applause like, yes, in public.
Hmm.
It might happen, yes, you might be praised in public for what you do in private, but it's more what you do in private.
Yeah,
That is key. That's very, very important.
preach it now, buddy. All right, as we begin to wrap this thing up, I'm just gonna, pass the mic over to you and allow you to ask the host some personal questions or any type of question. Go ahead.
Oh. I didn't expect to put me on the spot. Right, yeah. So Chris, I think I just love in the case of somebody, in case actually what you bring, you bring here. So as far as in the case of the programming itself, where do you see this going as far as in the case of the show? It's all about purpose here. In the case of the purpose, what is the biggest purpose? I want to hear your purpose. This because this is a great venture you're doing. I think highlighting and bringing people in case of telling their stories on here. But what is your purpose?
So, the podcast really isn't about me. It's about whoever's listening, who are my guests really, and hearing their story. I wanted their story to live on. That way, like when your time comes and you leave this earth, and somebody in your bloodline or somebody's interested in knowing more about you, they can come and find you. Like if Google's still the most popular thing, or if, whatever else that comes around, AI, Chat GPT, whatever comes and takes over, and they look you up and they pop up this video, and that's how they learn more about you. And it's the crazy part is I've been doing this for a little about probably about 3 years now, and I already got people reaching out
Mm.
to me that I had had people on the podcast that had passed away, that have moved on to the next world, that their nephews have come to me and actually said thank you for doing that show with my grandpa, because now I can actually listen to him over and over and hear his voice again, hear him talk about me and my everybody in the family, and hearing that, it was just like, it gives you chills, but at the same time it just leaves you like, wow. I didn't, when I first started this, I didn't think about that. I didn't think
Mm.
about that kind of stuff, that it would have that impact. But it just, like you said, it motivates you to want to keep doing it, to keep going. Because there's so many stories out here that need to be heard.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. And that's what I just wanted to get, because I think that's a very, very good purpose. Yes, it's not about you, but I think the purpose in bringing people's voices
Yep.
onto your podcast.
I'd
And I
rather,
think,
the voice be heard.
yeah, absolutely. So that is amazing. That is amazing. I love it.
All right, next question. Let's see what else you got, man.
Well, wow, I can't think. You put me too much on the spot here. Um, so in the case of what does your day look like? In the case of, I love routines, because I'm always talking about looking at um that's framework tools and creating. And one thing I love to understand is people's routines and how they actually look like. I know you're a busy guy, but what does the routine look like in Chris's life?
In my life, I wake up and the first thing I do is I say, another day, another blessing. Thank you, Lord. Because not every day is guaranteed. I'm grateful for that. Just because people always ask me that question. What's the first thing that, like, what do you always pray for? I'm like, to be honest, when I pray, I always find myself saying thank you, thank you. And I'm never like asking for anything else. I'm just saying thank you, Lord, thank you. But then after that, I get into, like I said, I start working out. Get my stretch in first, because you're getting older. I'm only in my 30s, but
Yeah, yeah,
I gotta stay. I want to stretch, keep the
yeah,
muscles loose. Don't want to get tight, because I think about that too. Because a lot of times, what happens when you get older, your muscles get tighter, your body gets weaker, and that focus, to me, that's why I've always, like, I cut off drinking. I never wanted to do any of that stuff, because I know the long term effects. It's gonna hit you hard when you get older. Like, do you want to continue to live that route? And when I was in my 20s, I looked at it like, no, I don't. Looking at the older people doing that, and I'd never seen the happiness in it, so I stayed away from that stuff. Drinking, smoking, and I always wanted to take care of my body. That way, when I do get older, I'm in good shape. I'm not at the doctor at 50 saying, "Oh, my back's hurt, my legs are hurting." I want to be able to live as long as I can. I don't want to be going out of this world, early, because I was living poorly. And that's why I try to take care of myself when I first get up. I get out here and start doing fitness. I try, like I said, I want to get into your book and start looking at, what to eat better and stay away from the junk food. That way I
yeah,
can take care of my mind and my entire body.
yeah.
And then, going to work, I just keep it going. I'm focused. I'm locked in. I'm ready to rock and roll. Whatever comes my way, like, ask the questions, I'm ready. Because outside of this, I work over at JM, and that's a company that builds rubber for roofs. You put the rubber on the roofs. John Mansfield,
Right.
I don't know if you ever heard of them. And when we're there, that's a very physical job. You have to roll like a big old sheet of rubber about 100 feet, and you have to cut it all up and then roll it up into a machine and do all that stuff. And that's very physical. But there, I just keep it going. I try to keep everybody else at the same time motivated, keep them happy, keep them feeling good at work as well. Because that's what you want. You want to be in an environment, like your atmosphere. You want it to be what kind of atmosphere you bring into the table. And when you come in, you don't want to be stinking. You want to have a good atmosphere where everybody wants to be around you, you know? You want the atmosphere where people are like, I like working with this guy. This guy is awesome, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I just try to stay like, life is going to throw stuff at you. Everybody knows that. You're going to get dealt with like different storms left and right. But it's how you handle it. And that's where my faith kicks in. I stay positive because I know no matter what, God is with me. No matter what I do, no matter what I'm going through, God is with me every step of the way. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to continue because I'll start preaching. I gotta
Oh no, I
stop
love
myself there.
it.
I gotta stop before I start preaching, man. I get going, man. All right. What else you
I
got for
love
me,
it.
man?
Oh, I love that case of routine. I think what you just mentioned there is actually quite key. And on in case of stretching, I think that's one thing I do. I've got a roller, so I just see it in the morning. I go to the gym in the back, but I don't even go there because I have it in the main house roller, so I can do some mobility stuff before I do anything.
Hmm.
Because yes, mobility is actually key. Of course, I have to pray and all that. So yeah, so that I love that routine.
You got
And
to
you talk
keep your
about
spirit man
relationships.
strong.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And relationships, I think that's quite key as well as you indicated. I always feel relationships, be it at work or at home, pretty much fuels everything. So it's something you have to foster, and it's not something that we find readily made in a lot of ways. And just on in your free time, because you're very busy. You go to podcast, you go work, and it can be quite physical as well. I know you put in your workouts as well, but in your free time, what kind of things do you get to do or engage in?
Well, in my free time, I like because I'm married. I gotta spend it with my wife.
Yeah, yeah,
The rest of that time, man, that's being with the love of my life and
I love
spending,
it.
enjoying that time. Because when you get it, man, when you have that person that comes into your life, it changes your whole world.
Yeah,
And I do stuff with her. We're usually out running errands, doing stuff like that. Going to the grocery store, just living life, living the marriage life.
yeah. No, that's beautiful.
All right. One more question. One more
Yeah.
question.
One more question.
Let's see what you got, buddy.
Wow. I think I'll go back to the question almost I think you asked me earlier. What does a purpose-driven life
Oh,
mean to you?
living in purpose, man, is
Hmm.
doing everything that you want to accomplish and not like having no regrets when you get older. You have goals. Everybody has them, right? What's holding you back from doing them? Excuses that you keep feeding yourself, lies that you
Yeah.
keep telling yourself that you can't do it, and that's a problem I see more than ever nowadays. They always have an excuse to say I can't. I just don't have enough time. You can make time to make it happen. Just stop giving yourself that excuse. Nothing's holding you back but yourself. It's you versus you. You have to make that decision. Are you going to get this goal and you're going to cross it off your list? Or are you going to keep making an excuse and saying, I can't do it because I got this going on, going that this happening here, I got this happening here? Stop doing that. Get out there and make it happen. What a Now I'm turning into a motivational speaker, huh?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Because really, honestly, that's what I feel is like we make too many excuses and we get in our own way and stop us from, doing what we're set out to do. If you want to live your full purpose, get out there and do it. Don't hold yourself back. Quit being afraid. Step out of that comfort zone. Like we said earlier, you got to step out of the comfort zone and get uncomfortable because that's the only way you'll grow.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, I'll start asking you some goofy questions. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? It's
If
all
I could
paid
trap,
for. Yeah,
wow,
all paid for. You have no expenses to worry about.
wow, that's a good one. So many places I want to go to again. Um, I would say New Zealand. It's something. It's on my list right now. I haven't. It's one of those things that keep on pushing back because it's just a long way to go. So you have to take more than a couple weeks off.
Yeah, like I would need more than like. How long would you think if you were going to New Zealand? Is that what you said, right? New Zealand.
Yeah, I want to. I would love to do that area. Maybe I would do New Zealand, Australia. So maybe about a month.
Okay. Yeah. A whole month,
Yeah,
man. Woo! That's a lot.
yeah,
You
yeah.
sure
There's
you
so
would want
much
to
to see.
leave afterwards?
Yeah, so much to see there.
I think
Go
if
go
I was
around
stuck
Christmas
for.
time. Yeah, go Christmas time. Have your Christmas on the beach,
Yeah, that'd be
the
nice, man.
barbecue.
Having some Coronas on the beach.
Yeah.
Or what is that? Jimmy Buffett says, Margaritaville, having a margarita.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll go clients in Australia. And it's quite funny how Christmas having a barbecue
I always hear
and going
people
to
say
the
that,
beach.
even like
Yeah.
being in Florida.
Yeah.
People say that being in Florida, like they're on the beach, having a
Yeah,
cookout. Like
exactly.
what?
Yeah.
Like I'm over here looking out the window. We got like 2 feet of snow, 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking, I gotta go shovel the sidewalk, man.
Yeah.
All right, your second question. What kind of? Okay, I'll go with that one. If you could have any car in the world, what would it be? What's your go-to?
Wow. Any car in the world. Um, I would I would go for the Beast. Your
Okay,
president's car.
okay, I'll go with that. I think for
Wait.
me,
Yep.
thinking about this question, I know that's got to be in the works, but I want the first flying car. I'll take
First
that
flying
one.
car.
Give me the
That would
first
be that
flying car. I'll take
that would
that.
be amazing. Yeah.
I know it's in the works. I know they're working on it. Don't. They're trying to
I
tell
think
me it's not.
I think it's already there actually. There's some prototypes I've seen actually.
I love to have the first
Yeah.
convertible car that is a plane that you can actually fly, and also on top of it, it's a boat too. Oof.
Wow, that's amazing. That would
Could
be
you
amazing.
imagine?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I seen something like that in James Bond, but
Yeah, that's what I was going for. James
yeah,
Bond. Yeah, the first flying car slash boat.
yeah, that would just be classic.
I feel like that show, the Magic School Bus, where they can just go into space and go do all that other stuff.
Yeah. We get in there. We get in there with AI and everything. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably ask AI all this stuff, and it'd be like, well, you could use this, use that.
Yeah, I can
Before you
create it.
know it, you'll be making your own stuff. Oh, I'm giving away secrets I shouldn't be saying.
Yeah.
All right,
Hmm.
final question. Somebody wants to get a hold of you. They want to get to know Richie. They want to learn more about you. The 8 books, man. They want to read your book. They want to talk to you. Where do they get a hold of you at? How do they reach out to you?
The best place to find me is I'm LinkedIn. I'm pretty much post. I'm on link. I'm active on LinkedIn pretty much on a daily basis. So LinkedIn is is good. X as well. Yeah, but LinkedIn, I'm very active there.
That's still for when I hear people say X, it still throws me off because I think of Twitter. Like every time I hear it, like
Yeah, I
Twitter.
tell you what, I just said it. I still struggle, to be honest, to say X. I
X.
think for the longest time I did refuse to call it X.
Yeah, like I hear it, I'm like Twitter, Twitter. He's
Yeah,
talking about
Twitter.
Twitter,
Yeah, yeah.
Twitter.
We still call them tweets, right? So the
It's, yeah, the
tweets on
tweets.
Twitter, tweets on X.
Do they still call it tweets or do they call it
Yeah,
something else now?
yeah, they still call them tweets.
Like, well, they might as well just stay as Twitter. I guess.
I
Well,
know.
they.
It's
I
nice
guess
to
he
go.
changed the name.
Mm.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share before we end this? Did we leave anything on the table, or did we cover it all?
Oh, it's been pleasure. I think we did cover pretty much quite a lot.
No, I think the only thing we didn't talk about is your personal life. Is your who you are you dating anyone? You're married? You got kids?
Yes, couple of kids.
He's a Are you a
Married.
married
Yep.
man? You got what's
Yep.
going on in your world?
Oh, absolutely.
He's
So I'm
married. Sorry,
married, two
ladies.
kids.
Sorry, ladies. He's off the market. we, we'll just clear that up. He is off the market. He's got children at home. They're probably watching this. Dad's being a goofball. Before we get in trouble, I'm just going to end it right now and say thank you guys for watching, or thank you for listening. Until next time, this is Chris, and that's Richie. Peace out.
Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you.
Hold on, stay.